Chop it up.
Doug Ford, the premier of Canada's most populous territory, Ontario. And Premier Ford, as we mentioned, President Trump is now saying he is enacting a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum from Canada, which will go into effect tomorrow in response to your actions. What's your reaction?
Well, Anna, first of all, thank you for having me on. I start every interview with saying we love Americans. I love Americans, spent 20 years of my life there. And I know Canadians love Americans and vice versa. In saying that, we will not back down. We will be relentless. I apologize to the American people that President Trump decided to have an unprovoked attack on our country, on families, on jobs, and it's unacceptable. Let's work together. Let's get to the table if he has issues, and let's sort this out. You see the market tumbling, consumer confidence is down, and if he continues on with this, assembly plants in Michigan will shut down, and around the country, whoever makes autos, and as well as businesses, they're going to hurt.
I'm going to play the updated one because he recently apologized.
Okay, go ahead.
More on those tariffs imposed while we were all sleeping. Good morning, Lucas.
Well, good early morning, Carly and Todd. It's official. The tariffs on all steel and aluminum products go into effect today. It's a 25% tariff or tax the Trump administration says will create more jobs at home. The European Union has announced retaliatory measures. President Trump says these tariffs are just the beginning and could increase.
They don't want to pay 25% or whatever it may be. It may go up higher, maybe go up higher. Look, the higher it goes, the more likely it is they're going to build. And ultimately, the biggest win is not the tariff. That's a big win. That's a lot of money. But the biggest win is if they move into our country and produce jobs. That's a bigger win than the tariffs themselves.
Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick will meet with Ontario Premier Doug Ford tomorrow to discuss a new trade agreement. The meeting comes after Ford apologized to the American people after suspending a 25% tax on electricity exports to the U.S. after Trump threatened additional tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Here's Ford and Lutnick ahead of their meeting.
I thought this was the right decision. They understand how serious we are. We have both agreed, let cooler heads prevail. We need to sit down and move this forward.
When you're negotiating with someone and they're not paying attention and they're disagreeing, the president, who's the best deal maker ever to sit in that chair, is going to say, here's my response. And then all of a sudden, shockingly, they respond.
Now, today, President Trump will welcome Ireland's prime minister at the White House today. He's the first European leader to visit the White House since Ukraine's president visited the Oval Office. Now, the Irish government has been a fierce critic of Israel and led the International Criminal Court case against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, leading the Israeli government to close its embassy in Dublin, guys. So, Carly, maybe keep that body language expert around for this meeting in the Oval Office.
It could be very beneficial. Lucas Tomlinson, live.
Yeah, so there you have it. You know, it's going down with America and Canada with these tariffs, and still trying to figure it out. So go ahead, Ronnie, man. What's your commentary?
Now, people gotta understand something when it comes to the aspect of these tariffs. Remember, for us to import certain goods and services from these countries like Canada, Mexico, and also China, we spend a lot of money just to have them come over here. Now, the good thing about it is that it's going to allow to bring more jobs into America in the aspect of we're going to start producing our own American products. So American people are going to start using it. So now we're going to build our own steel, our own mills, and anything we need, we now going to get it off America's soil. So either or, Canada don't want to abide by the rules, don't matter. The United States is one of the biggest consumers in the world. People don't want to lose business when it comes to the aspect of the United States, because we are the biggest consumer of the world. And I think the second biggest consumer in the world, I think, is China. And also, and the third, I think, is India. So Canada is pretty much hurting their own economy. Now, me and my coworkers had a conversation about that. Canada is pretty much hurting their own economy by them now buying by these tariffs. So at the end of the day, the United States is going to continue to do what it do and become great once again. Go right ahead, I can't.
Brothers, y'all all spoke eloquently. Now, I want to say something. If I didn't tell nobody today, I'm going to tell you, go get Donald Trump book, The Art of the Deal. one video showed a day ago. The other video showed 13 hours where he came and he apologized and said, I'm ready to sit down and make a deal. Trump is not playing no game. He said, if you want to make a deal with us, bring your factories here. Waha said it best, bring manufacturing back to America. Manufacture the cars here so Americans can get jobs and we can take care of our own. Let's get it.
Absolutely. And to me, you can start that stuff up in Michigan. Like I said, I was up there last week, and like I said, when we went to downtown, I could see the Ambassador Bridge where, you know, we America and Canada does import goods, and also they're also building another bridge, which I think is going to be released next year or year before that and everything. So, but other than that, when it comes to bringing steel back, I remember back in the 80s and 70s that especially in the Midwest that we was very, very heavy about steel mill and everything, especially in Indiana. At least I can remember that because Michael Jackson's father Joe worked in the steel mill in Gary, Indiana, and it was very, very huge back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and everything. So when it comes to steel, I'm very, very grateful for that. Just bring it back into states like Michigan, states like Illinois, states like Indiana, which at the time, Indiana, which that was the time, back in the early 40, 50 years ago, if you weren't working the steel mill, it was your job waiting for you and everything. So, but Donald Trump, like I said, business savvy, like I say, 70 years old, and he know what he's doing. He's a business savvy type of man. So eventually he usually go get his way. And we saw that, with the, I think it was the Venezuela Colombian president, where, he was they want to send back the migrants, and the next day he apologized. So it might be the same thing with Canada. So
Yep. Shout out to White High. That's also in the building. We really do greatly appreciate you for being here, big dog. Yep. That was but most of our steels, iron, and the aluminum come from Canada. We have to bring stuff back here to the U.S. That's the only issue we have. We're not building manufacture here in the U.S. That's one of the biggest challenges we always face. In the 1960s, you already know, in the early 90s, early 1800s, there was a lot of major companies that was here in the U.S. They're gone.